Brain mapping center. Scary. Oh my god, for real? Chinese. Yes. I'm getting this one.
USC, UCLA, Berkeley, Columbia, Harvard. Yeah.
Like, people probably kept doing that again and again.
I'm loaded now.
My brothers and sisters.
The land of your people.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. All right, time now is 10:24, magic number. All right, so yeah, let's talk about what happened today. I went out to see Thomas at around 1:30-ish. He picked me up in his Tesla car and he was like, "Where do you want to go to eat lunch?" I just finished like a raisin toast with peanut butter and honey plus a roll cake. So I wasn't really hungry, but I promised him to have lunch, so I'm like, I don't know. So I said, and he asked me what do I want to eat or not eat, and I said I don't want to eat fast food. I don't want to eat burgers because the last few days I've had Smash Burger, I've had Subway, I had you know, Shake Shack. Like, it's too many burgers. I need to chill out. So I said, I don't know, just I don't know. Let's how about Yoshinoya? Because I was I don't know, something came up to me and I realized, oh yeah, you know, in Japan I wanted to eat Yoshinoya, but I never got the chance. So he drove me to the Pico Boulevard Yoshinoya, and it felt like the ghetto. It was really broken and like cheap, and Thomas didn't feel safe at all, especially given that we're in a Tesla. So Thomas is like, we're not gonna go here. So there's another Yoshinoya in UCLA. So he drove us to UCLA. We parked the car there, and then we walked to Yoshinoya. Except we kept on getting lost. More like Thomas kept on getting lost. I followed him, and I know we're going to the wrong way. I told him, and he's like, "Nah, I'm pretty sure this is the right way. I'm really familiar with this campus." Oh, also in the beginning of the day, when I went to the Tesla car, Thomas wiped down the little dashboard on the car with a wet wipe, and then he gave the wipe to me and said, "Can you go back to your apartment and throw it in the trash?" And I was like, okay, fine. I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to be his lackey, but whatever, fuck it. And I wanted to just throw it on the ground, but that's irresponsible. So I went into the apartment building and I thought there would be a trash can there. Nope. So I actually took out my keys, opened my door to my apartment, throw it in the trash, and then leave again, lock the doors. But anyways, we were in UCLA and we finally found our way to Yoshinoya. We spent like 40 minutes walking there. Turns out it's closed. And so we're like, well, that's great. At least we got to do a bit of a walking tour around UCLA, which is a very beautiful, nice campus full of ups and downs and twists and turns and little alleyways and staircases, and it's very interesting. So at the end, we're like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, well, let's go to Westwood, because UCLA is a college campus and today is a public holiday, so it would make sense that a lot of restaurants are closed. All the restaurants are pretty much closed except for Carl's Jr. for some fucking reason. So I went to Westwood, and I told, and there's Chick-fil-A, there's Taco Bell, there's In-N-Out, there's Denny's, but I don't want fast food, man. So at the end, I'm like, well, there's a Japanese restaurant there. There's a restaurant called Mr. Rice. So I and Thomas ended up going to Mr. Rice, and it's actually a restaurant that I and Potter passed by a long time ago. When I went to Westwood for the first time with Potter. Was that the first time I've gone there? It was definitely one of the earlier times. Yeah, I think that was one of the first few times I've been to Westwood. We passed by this restaurant, and Potter was like, ooh, I could actually work here. So Mr. Rice is a small Chinese restaurant, and most of the people in there are Chinese, and they speak Mandarin. And even the waiters, it's just 2 waiters and 1 chef, or 2 chefs and 1 waiter, and they all speak Mandarin. One of them speaks Cantonese, and I'm like, ooh, Cantonese. But it wasn't like Hong Kong Cantonese. It felt like Guangzhou Cantonese. Yeah, you know, we went in, and Thomas was like, oh, I can't speak Mandarin all that well. I don't want to feel harassed. Can we leave? And I'm like, bro, I don't want to walk anymore. I just want to sit down and eat. So at that point, it was like 2:30-ish. So we ordered. I ordered $12.99 bowl of Yunnan rice noodles plus milk tea. And that plus tax and tips became 20 point something dollars, which is so fucking stupid. Yeah. The tax rate in Westwood is high. You know that. You and I both know that. Westwood is a good place, thus it's really high, the tax rate. Like if I eat the same meal in somewhere in, I don't know, honestly, tax rates anywhere is high. But if I eat the same meal in fucking Marina Del Rey, maybe it would be cheaper. Or maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of silly. But yeah, anyways, but fine, whatever. I'll spend a little money. And then Thomas ordered tomato soup, beef noodles, which is great. You know, he shared some of the soup onto my big spoon, the ladle, and we had it. And the noodles is fine. I would say it's a 7 out of 10. I'm so happy I'm able to eat something like this. It's been a whole year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years since I've had Yunnan rice noodles. One huge problem is that the peas they added onto the noodles is stone dry. They're like little rocks. They didn't cook it long enough. And yeah, that's that. And I added crap tons of chili oil. And I served it with milk tea. And the milk tea is like bubble tea without bubble. It's like boba without boba. It's not the milk tea that I'm familiar with. So and they served it in a classic Californian tall plastic cup. You know. So yeah, afterwards, after the meal, we walked back to the UCLA car park, and that's around when Thomas told me about frats and how there are frats, fraternities, and today is the first time I found out that apparently frats are cross-national, meaning that, you know, if you're part of the Delta Phi Pi in UCLA, you would technically be in the same frat as NYU's Delta Phi Pi. Like, a frat house is not a club. A club is a university thing, like a university exclusive thing. Like, UCLA Film Club and USC Film Club aren't friends. But if you're part of Alpha, Gamma, Omega, or some shit like that, they're actually Alpha, Gamma, Omega all across the nation in a lot of major universities. So technically, they're all in the same frat. So if you're in Alpha, Gamma, Omega, and you go to Kansas and there's an Alpha, Omega, Gamma there, then you and them are also like brothers and sisters. And so it's sort of like a secret underground society. It's not really secret since people know about it, but it's sort of this underground society, and it's sort of like gangs, you know? And that's really interesting. That's really fucking interesting. That gave me a lot of story ideas. So that's really interesting. Anyways, we went back to the car park, we left, and Thomas was being petty at first. Thomas was like, oh, you know what? Do you mind if we split the parking fee together? And I'm like, no, it's fine. But he didn't ask me later. He probably forgot. Then we wanted to go to a spot where we could talk about Script Writing Club and Film 33 and whatnot. So Tom was like, you want to go to USC? Are you down? And I'm like, I don't know, you're the driver. And he's like, well, if you're down, I'm down. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, okay, let's go. So we went onto Sunset Boulevard, and then he's like, you know what? Let's just go to my apartment, to the rooftop. So I'm like, okay. So I went to his apartment, which is a place I've been to a few times already. We went to the rooftop, and we set up a chair and a table and an umbrella and everything. Turns out there's no Wi-Fi signal there at all. So Tom was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go down to our apartment. So we packed up everything, and then we went to his apartment, where I spent about 2.5 hours basically preparing stuff for Script Writing Club. And even though I and Thomas have crazy ambitious ideas for Script Writing Club this semester, without the help of Kat, and with Betsy not being available all the time, I guess, we realized that it's actually really tough to pull off a lot of these events and games. Like, they all require a lot of thinking, and also a lot of promotion on Instagram, and we still don't have enough people in the leadership team. So I and Thomas were really so I essentially went to Discord and started, posting messages about, hey, We Script Writing Club is looking for leadership members. And then I even made an Instagram post, like a few slides, 3 slides of Instagram posts on a website called Canva, where we did that. And I found in the Mood for Love PNG, which looks really nice, and I pasted it onto that post. And Thomas was like, "Bro, that looks like foot fetish. Please don't put it there." And I'm like, "Bro, this is the best PNG I could find, and it's in the Mood for Love. This is the Indian professor's favorite film." He's like, "Please don't do it." And I'm like, "Bro, why are you like this?" But at the end, we felt really tired, and we did it. Thomas did treat me very nicely. He treated me to some ice cream. Like, he has 5-6 boxes of Kroger's ice cream in his fridge, and he let me have some brownie ice cream and then a brownie and chocolate ice cream, and they taste really good, but that's also a lot of calories, so I'm really filled. And we also talked a little bit about Film 33. Thomas finished writing his 10-page script, and it was kind of a mess, but I appreciate the ambition. And then he drove me back home. And then when I got back home, it was 7, and I wasn't even that hungry. So I rested a bit, and then I just cooked dinner, which is half a salmon's fillet, some rice, some cabbage and onion fried, some kimchi. That's it. That's all the calories I need today. I probably already passed 2,300. And then that's all for today. Not much else. And let's please, fingers crossed, I sleep earlier tonight, even though that's probably impossible because I still have a few things to do right now, but I'm going to try my very, very, very freaking best. And yeah, nothing else. I just, nothing else. John L. is getting a lot of help from all sorts of people. He's making Instagram posts about his crew, who's gonna help who's going to be in his short film, the composer, the DP, the producers, yada yada. And of course, I'm the scripty, and he's not going to make a post about me. That's okay. And then even HKOS, the organization, made a post about, a whole post in support of John L. And this made me think, like, holy shit, when I make my thesis film in UCLA or USC or LMU or whatever, and I need money, I need people to be like, ooh, this is for a great cause, because John L is making this for a great cause, and it's for Hong Kongers, it's about politics. But then almost all my story ideas are so weird and quirky and edgy. It's like, what cause is this really? So yeah, I don't know. But that's pretty much it. I'll be seeing Potter Pepper, Alba, Brigatoni, Diego, and Dimitri tomorrow, which is going to be interesting, exciting, explosions, many wow. And that's that. Yeah. Alright, time now is 10:53 a.m. on February 22nd. Yeah, February 23rd. So, yeah, fuck. I slept from 3:30 to 10:20, I guess. I don't really know how to explain this. I somehow slept even later, and my sleep quality was absolutely abysmal. It was terrible. I woke up probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 times in the middle of the night. I had a lot of dreams, which is a bad indication, which means that I was stuck at REM state for most of my sleep. And at some point I thought it's already 11 a.m. and then I look at the clock and it's only 8:20. Thank God I have a clock around with me. Holy crap. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with me. So let me talk about the 3 dreams that I had. The first dream was, there are multiple dreams. But I only remember 3 really. The first one is my parents, including my aunt, and some of my mom's colleagues come to visit me in LA, and they come to visit my apartment. My apartment is not like this one at all. It's basically like this one, but like super big, kind of like a mansion. Has 2 stories. Like I live in an apartment where there's a staircase inside, and you can go up to the 2nd floor. And I live on the 2nd floor, and my mom started eating peanuts, and my cousin started messing around with stuff. My dad kept on messing around with a pen, like with a brush pen, and he broke it or something. And then there are some real expensive Nikon lenses, and I don't know, it's crazy. And they left a huge mess, and I had to clean it all up. And then some guys from the organization called Pomado, you should know about this, also came in, and then they left to watch a movie in the cinema, and the movie's called Bad Guys, and it's like a comedy movie that nobody cares about. And then the second dream, I was also in this apartment, but Jacob, the Chinese roommate, showed up, sneaked in, and placed something somewhere in a cabinet, and I was there, and I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, nothing, just getting a lab coat. And he laughed and I laughed, and it was almost like he's trying to hide weed or hide drugs or something. And then I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, really, lab coat, my chemistry lab coat. And then he went to another cabinet where there's like a bunch of lab coats, and that made me realize, oh my god, my room, like a good portion of my room is somehow his now, because he's secretly hiding stuff here. And then I think I woke up at around 8:20, and then I went back to sleep. And then I had my third dream where I went to class with Pepper, but it was Pepper only. Like I didn't see anyone else. I didn't see Potter or whatever. And then it started to rain, and it was nighttime, and we were on some mountains, and we're supposed to go through some sketchy mountain roads, some mountain paths in order to reach a bus station. and we're gonna take a bus together. And at that point, I and Pepper's relationship are pretty shaky and pretty bad, you know. And but we had to survive together, and suddenly I really wanted to protect her. And so Pepper told me that she knows why I acted so cold and awkward towards her in the last few weeks. She said I purposefully want her to hate me, and I asked her why, but she never explained. And then a little bit later, you know, it was dangerous and nighttime and it was raining. We're on the mountains alone, so I don't know who did the initiation, but I think it was her idea. But she gave me her hand and we held hands together. And her hand was really warm and my hands were really cold. And she's like, wow, your hands are so cold. And I'm like, yeah. But it wasn't like a very intimate, gentle moment. It was just her hand. And then I wanted to tell her, this is the first time I've held a girl's hand before. But I didn't tell her. But I did have this thought in the dream. So that's that. Yeah, that's the 3 dreams. And there's also this dream within dream thing where I'm seeing a bunch of weird things, like some birds, and the birds are spitting hot dog sausages down on Earth, and it's supposed to have some meaning, like there's a metaphor behind it, and it's like a reoccurring thing throughout the whole night, or at least it feels like it. Yeah, it's one really weird mix mash conundrum of dreams. Yeah, I really need to sleep earlier tonight. But last night I couldn't even immediately fall asleep. Maybe it's because I've gone past my sleep cycle, so I'm not sleepy enough. And yeah, I'm gonna try to finish watching Elvis later. I'm gonna skip around because this movie is not very bearable to me. I'm gonna review it. If I have time, I'll talk about My Bloody Valentine. And then I'm going to go to Photo 2 class today. I'm gonna be seeing Pepper, as well as Potter, Alba, Rigatoni, and everyone else. And it's gonna be interesting. I am more interested in tomorrow's. I'm equally as interested in tomorrow's Photo 1 class because I really want to make friends with those Koreans. I really think, I don't know, like, I really think there should be some sort of, I don't know, I just want some Korean friends, that's all. So that's that. I have no idea what to eat for breakfast or lunch right now. I'm really out of my wits. I need to think of something really fast, real quick. Yep, no idea. I have eggs. Maybe I can make an omelet with cheese, which is silly. I don't know. And then not much else, I guess. That's pretty much it for today. One of the reasons why I slept so late last night is because I wanted to fix my face. So more acne is popping up. So I added, I washed, after showering, I still used the face wash, the Cetaphil face cleanser, and then I used the mandelic acid that Pink gave me. And then I had to wait about 10 to 15 minutes until I put on my moisturizing cream, and then I had to wait for about another 10 minutes to wash my face and then go to bed. And then in that period of time, I came up with the outline for my Film 33 short film, which is a bit more complicated than I had expected. And also I finished one more scene in the Virgin rewrite. Progress. So that's that. But yeah, nothing else. I really have to sleep earlier tonight, given that tomorrow I have to wake up even earlier. Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that last night, Last night, my clothes, my dried, clean clothes in the drying machine. I came back home and I saw Jacob. This is probably why I had the dream. I saw Jacob washing some clothes, and I thought, hold on, how about my dry, clean clothes? Where the hell are they? Turns out they're on top of the fucking dryer. It's the second time it had happened, just because I forgot to take them out last night. Now it's on top of the fucking dryer. And I always thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna take the clean clothes back to my closet and just put it down, whatever. Let's not be a fuss. But it's just so stupid because there are underwear there. There's undershirts there. Those are supposed to be tack clean. So I rewashed the whole batch of clothes. And also my gray pants, my khaki pants, which requires a belt. That's supposed to be clean as fuck because I'm not gonna wear it again for a long, long time. So I rewashed the whole thing. I put it back into the washing machine. I put it in the dryer, and then I rewashed the whole thing. Also, Tom's just now did remember about the parking fee and want me to pay $3.5 fine. Despite Thomas being nice to me yesterday, I still wish that I'm gonna branch out, find out more Hong Kongers, find out more friends, and hang out with them more so than anyone else. More so than with Pepper. I don't think I'll ever hang out with Pepper anymore. Again, I know I'm being very pessimistic. Like, at the end of round 1, I thought I'll never hang out with Pepper anymore, and then boom, I hung out with Pepper so much more. And then, I thought I'll never hang out with Potter or JT, but I hung out with them a couple more times. I thought I'll never hang out again with, or I thought I'll never really get the chance to hang out with Aoba, but I and Aoba did hang out like a couple times. So, stop being so pessimistic. Maybe I'll hang out with Pepper again a couple more times, but I truly don't care. I don't know why I have the dream of me holding Pepper's hand. I think it was less, I'm secretly still into Pepper. I'm secretly into Pepper. Or I think it's more so I'm just desperate to hold someone's hand. Like, it's such a simple act. And it's funny because I've hugged people before. When I saw Betsy the last Thursday, Betsy hugged me. Betsy's like, come on, like, and opened her arms. I can't refuse a hug like that in front of Rigatoni. Like, bruh, like, what am I supposed to do? So I hugged back, and it's just, I don't know, like, I've never even held a girl's hand in a romantic way. Like, at least bring me to that level. Like, a lot of the people I know have already reached stage 4 and stage 5. Stage 4 is, molesting each other and touching each other's genitals, right? And stage 5 is fucking. Not a lot of people I know, just 3 people I know have reached stage 4/5. And I haven't even reached stage 1. And the hugs don't count. They're technically stage 2, but they don't really fucking count, But yeah, that's that. I don't, and it's kind of funny because I'll be seeing Pepper later. Maybe it's me being like anticipated for today's class that made me have this dream. Yeah, I really desperately need someone in my life, man. I don't know, but I look so dumb. I'm so skinny. Also, I'm planning to do some exercises this morning, but I feel really tired. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shan't. Should I? And my arms are still a little sore, just a tiny bit. Back. What? Get it through here? From here. All right, time now is 8:20. 8:20 p.m. Just came back home from photo 2 class. I'm still in my street clothes. I'm gonna directly cook dinner now. I'm just waiting to defrost my fucking pork chop. So let's talk about what happened today. Honestly, nothing. Today's class is as tame and as average as ever, I guess. I thought I would be late. Thank God I was not. I was right on time. But I planned 1 hour and 15 minutes to go there. So I planned to leave at 1:30, but after watching Elvis, it was already 1:27, and I didn't even watch the whole thing. I skipped around, especially near the end. And then I quickly filmed a review standing up, and then I quickly made myself some lunch. I was brainstorming. I really had no idea what the fuck to eat. Like, I'm literally running out of food. So I had some leftover pasta in the fridge, and then I had a leftover salmon from last night. So I just chucked them both on a small plate, microwaved it for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then boom, I ate it. I ate that shit up. And then I realized, okay, maybe 1 hour, 15 minutes is very safe. Maybe I don't have to go this early. So I checked the transit app. Turns out I have half an hour more to spare. So I ate some spinach with salad sauce, drank some lemon tea, and then I'm ready to go. Yeah. So I went to photo 2 class right on time. Right off the bat, Diego, Dimitri, Aoba, Potter, Pepper, already there. And I joined in, and we walked into the classroom, and we all went back to our stations. Exactly the same layout as last Tuesday. I and Aoba are together again. And the guy to my right, or when I'm turned to the machine, the guy to my left is a more experienced photo guy, Latino, long hair with a mustache. And he helped me quite a bit. He's nice and chill. And then, of course, again, opposite me, there's Pepper, Potter, Diego, Dimitri. One difference today is that Rigatoni did not show up in class. What the heck? So, I was a little disappointed, but I wasn't crushed. It's just that if he shows up in class, I could once again remind him that, I have a letter recommendation due. Hopefully he remembers to write me one. Essentially that's that. I didn't speak to Pepper or Potter for the most part of the class. Spoke to Aoba a lot because today essentially what we're doing is that we're scanning items on a photography paper. After that we're gonna develop that film paper onto in a developing solution, and then on the stop bath, and then on the fixing bath, and then in the water bath. There are 4 baths. So we did that, and the items that I prepared is like a daruma doll. And when I showed it to Aoba, because Aoba's Japanese, she was like, "Oh, that's and I said, "Oh yeah, I brought it back from Japan. It's over here." And Aoba suddenly turned Japanese mode. She just turned Japanese mode, and she's like, "Nandakke, wasureta." Like, oh, what is it? I forgot. What's the name? Eto. And then she's like, "Daruma," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a daruma doll." She turns the moment she sees something Japanese, she just turns Japanese. That's really funny because at some point, our professor introduces a teacher helper who is also Japanese, a Japanese girl, probably in her late 20s, shorter than Aoba, and is from Osaka. And she isn't Japanese American, she's for real Japanese. You can tell by her accent. But throughout the whole day, when she speaks to Aoba, they also communicate in English. I guess the Japanese teaching assistant just doesn't really give a shit anymore because there are too many Japanese students in this college. Might as well just converse in English all the way through. And another thing is, Aoba's probably too embarrassed to suddenly blurt Japanese out. It's the same thing with if I see another Hong Konger and I'm like, "Oh, you're a Hong Konger too?" And they're like, "Yeah." It's like, oh, should I be the one who say a Cantonese first, or should they be the one to do that first? Like, who should go first, you know. So there's that. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting moment. And then but yeah, we developed a film, and my first film ever. You know what? I can just straight up show y'all because why not? I developed 4 today, which is a lot. A lot of people did 2, some did 3. I did 4 because I'm a maniac. Oh shit! I left them all in the locker, so you couldn't see it. God damn it! But it's the first film I did. It's pure black, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why? And so I asked the teacher assistant why, and then I asked the professor why. And then the teacher assistant helped me. Turns out it's because I forgot to turn off the light in the machine when I put the film there. Because if the film touches light, it turns completely black. And I forgot to turn off the light. So that was a bit of a mess up for me. Yeah. I tried it again, and it finally worked. It's funny, the teacher assistant said light is enemy. Light is the enemy. And I thought that's such a dramatic statement, but that's so true. Like when it comes to handling film, it's so dramatic yet so true. And it's just such a good, like, if I ever make a film about film, like it's going to be light is the enemy. And it's also like, if I quote this light is the enemy out of context, it's almost like a dialogue of a line from the anime Death Note, you know. It's so funny. So yeah, that's that. I developed it second time, it worked, and then I used the whole frame, the whole sheet, because when I did my first 2 developments for the film, I used half a sheet, you know, just to test it out. I used a full frame, it's fine. It wasn't that beautiful. When I laid out my items in a symmetrical way, it looked great, but then when black and white, it doesn't look great. Never mind. Second of all is yeah, you know, and then I at the very end, so we had until 5:30 p.m. to finish all the developing films, finish all our attempts and pack everything up. And then I'm like, bro, I really want to get the Daruma doll, like the face, onto the film. So I tried to scan it again, and it didn't work, but I ended up scanning 4. Developing 4 films, so that's or 4 picture films, not really like film movies, you know, just like film photos, you know. And right after that, we had a little break, and then everyone moved to business room 1 through 3, where we had the lecture, where I also took photo 1 in last photo 1, and we all sat there. And Pepper and Alba socialized, and they sat in front of me. And it's Alba in front of me, Pepper to her right, and then me behind Alba, and then Potter to my right. And then it was kind of awkward because we didn't say anything to each other. Alba and Pepper conversed. And Potter conversed with the people behind him, this French dude. I didn't converse with anyone. I was like the loner during that situation. But yeah, we learned how to insert film into a film camera. We got assigned cameras. This I can show. This I did bring back home. Hold on. Oh. Where is it? Oh, fuck. There it is. Ta-da! This Canon EOS Rebel G2 film camera. Very light, way lighter than Sony A7 III, way smaller, and it's a film camera. I roll it in, turn it on. I forgot to turn it off the whole time. Hold on. Is it off? I hope it is. I really can't tell. But yeah, you know, we all got assigned the cameras, and that's pretty much it. And then we all left. We went back to the dark room to pick up the prints, and then we all left. And then I and Potter, we shook hands with the professor and said, "See you next week." And I'm like, "See you next week." And the professor sarcastically said, "All right, see you next week." And I'm like, "Oh, right, tomorrow I got photo 1. See you tomorrow." And so I and Potter, it was so cold. I and Potter just stood out in the cold at night. and it wasn't awkward. It's just I realized I have nothing to say because right now, as of now, I don't have a lot on my mind. Like in this period of time, all I really care about is getting into Film 33, which I already got into, and UniApp, which I already did the most of, and there's nothing. Like I have nothing to care about at this point. And I don't have a lot of deep thoughts and feelings right now. Like regarding love and relationships, I don't care about Pepper anymore. I'm ready to move on and look for someone else. I have nothing good to talk about. There's literally nothing on my mind. So we didn't talk much. And then we were waiting for Alba and Pepper, and Potter's like, fuck, what are they doing inside? So we went in, and apparently something's wrong with Alba's locker. So Pepper's like, oh, you two can go home first. And I'm like, sure. So I and Potter, we went back home. Like, not went back home, we went to the bus stop. And last Tuesday, Alba was like, oh, do you want to grab something to eat after class? And Pepper was like, oh, yeah, sure. I'm going to be honest here. I don't think that's ever going to happen in this entire semester. I know I'm being pessimistic, but let's be honest here. But it would be great, of course, because at that point it was like 7-something p.m. and we were all really hungry. And at that point, I and Potter, we were alone, waiting for the bus. That was when I wanted to, Potter complained to me about Diego. And even though Potter doesn't know Diego so much, just with a mustache, and the fact that he's wearing short-sleeved shirt in such a cold weather, Potter already felt the toxic masculinity from him and already started to not like him. And Potter said that's a very rare case. And then I wanted to tell Potter about Pepper. I just wanted to talk to Potter about, did you feel anything like an awkward tension between me and her? What do you think now? But just when I was going to say that, like I told Potter like, oh, what do you think? And then suddenly Pepper and Alba showed up behind us. So I couldn't continue. So the bus immediately arrived. We tapped our cards and we sat down. And I sat right beside Potter. And Potter's like, what were you saying? And I was like, well, nah, nothing. I mean, it's the first class. You and I are together, even though I've known you for a year. And Potter's like, well, that's not a huge deal. I mean, I know a lot of people for like 4 or 5 years. I've never taken the same class with them. And I'm like, yeah. And then it was dead silent. And then it was Pepper and Potter talking. Like, Pepper just pretended that I don't exist. And Pepper asking Potter, like, so what are you going to do? Like, are you going to eat something, go home? Like, what did you eat before? And Potter's like, oh, I ate some leftover rice, some leftover salad, mix them together. And Pepper's like, oh, I ate a bagel before I came here. And then Potter asked me what I ate before, and I said, ooh, leftover pasta, salmon, some salad. And Potter's like, wow, it's pretty fruitful and rich. And I'm like, yeah, I have to. It's like if I eat less, just a little bit less, I'm gonna lose weight so fast. I have to constantly eat food in order to maintain weight. Yeah, and then and then that's pretty much it. And then Potter spoke to me about, like, is it just me or does it feel awkward between Alba and us? Like, are you and Pepper close with Alba, or is it like, or are you guys just in the same major? And I'm like, no, we're classmates. We're close, like, kind of. So yeah, and then I and Potter, we spoke to a Korean guy, like a middle-aged Korean guy. That's that. And then just a random middle-aged Korean guy in our photo class. And then finally we arrived at the bus stop, and Pepper's like, oh shit, I gotta go. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go too, because that's the usual bus stop I get off at. For Pepper, she's missed a stop. For me, that's the stop I get off. But usually I would take bus number 17 up north and return home. But as of that moment, 17 is over. It's fucking over. It doesn't exist anymore. So I and Pepper just walked back home. And I thought, well, shit, this is gonna be awkward. this is going to be the first time I and Pepper really spoke with each other. And let's see what happens. And Pepper acted like as if nothing happened, because really nothing did happen. But I guess this only goes to show that Pepper really doesn't think much of me. Like, did Pepper notice that I didn't speak to her on WhatsApp for over a month? Like, but anyways, we just walked, and there were so many moments of dead silence between us. The last time something like this happened, after a Film 32 class, when I and Pepper walked and talked and we went to Marukai together, and that, constant flowing of conversation, and we talked about the past, and it's a very fun conversation where, it keeps flowing and we constantly change topics, but both of us can still chat. That energy, that synergy, it's completely gone. Me and Pepper, we have nothing to talk about. So we just talked about lame basic things. Pepper talked about how he asked me if I'm done with all the application, and I'm like, yeah, pretty much done. And Pepper said he ended up not applying to USC because he didn't, just because of the fucking Duolingo English test. He didn't retake the Duolingo English test at the end, and it stayed being 115 out of 160, which is not enough for USC. So he straight up did not apply to USC. And probably another good reason is because she doesn't really have a short film to submit. So that's that. But yeah, she just didn't. And I honestly couldn't care any less. You do you. And I'm like, well, how about LMU? Did you apply there? And she's like, yeah. How about Chapman? Did you apply there? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I asked her, so as of now, what school do you think you will definitely get in? And she's like, CSUN. And I'm like, okay. Honestly, again, I couldn't care any less. I am more confident about my application than I am about hers. Even if I don't get into USC or UCLA, I feel like I have a good chance at getting into LMU, right? Or maybe even Chapman. So half a year later, I and Pepper, we'll be saying goodbye to each other, and we won't really hang out ever again. I won't hear anything from her again, so I really don't care. And then we talked about what are we gonna do like once we go back home, because you can buy sushi in Nijio Market. So I'm like, so are you just gonna buy sushi in Nijio Market? And she's like, no, it's expensive. Like, why don't I just go to a sushi restaurant since it's about the same price? And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then we talked about getting a job a little bit. Pepper's still looking for a job. I honestly low-key expected Pepper to have found a new job, a new and didn't tell me, but apparently Pepper's still unemployed. And I said, oh yeah, me too. I didn't tell Pepper anything about me trying to find a job on the college campus, because she doesn't really deserve to know. I mean, I was gonna tell her, but it doesn't really matter. I don't care if I tell her or not, And she asked me if I'm going to help John L with his short film, and I'm like, yeah. And she said she's gonna be in the makeup and hairstyle department, and I said I'm the scripty. So she's like, okay. And I said, oh yeah, I saw your Instagram stories. You were on so many film sets, and she's like, yeah, even if it's not for the money, it's good for the experience. And I'm like, yeah. And then we ended up walking past the well next door, and we saw, what's her name? Clara, the Hong Konger woman who is really fat. We went in and we said hi to her, and it's mostly Pepper and her chatting very nicely. Apparently, on March 1st or maybe March 2nd, Pepper and her will hang out and we'll go to Century City and have hot pot together or something, Again, I couldn't care any less. But at the end, I was like, oh, how is the well that I worked at? And she's like, oh, it's a disaster. But there's a new menu item, and it's egg waffles. And then we left, and then Pepper went to Nijio Market. I followed her. because I thought might as well, even though I didn't buy anything, might as well chat with her. So yeah, you know, same talk, same talk. And then while paying in the Nijia market, I heard some Cantonese. So I and Pepper talked a little bit about how there are actually a lot of Hong Kongers and how I've been hearing a lot of Cantonese in my outside of my apartment. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you know, your building has a lot of Hong Kongers." And I'm like, "Yeah, I hope, you know, a power outage happens again so that I have an excuse to go out and socialize." And she laughed. And then that's it. And then we walked to the street outside. So we're on the big street, right? Pepper's residence is not really on the big street. You have to go a little bit inward or outward. And usually, every time I accompany Pepper, I also walk her to her front door and then I walk away. Even though it's a bit of a hassle for me because I have to go back to the big street again. But when we were at the turn, Pepper was like, "Okay, I'm going to go here, bye." And I'm like, "Bye." Pepper said bye to me first. I thought, like, I was, like, with or without her saying anything, I'm just going to walk straight. I'm not going to accompany her anymore. And she probably totally expected that too. And she said bye, and I'm like, "Okay, bye." And I just listened to music and just walked back home. That's it. I really don't feel a single thing from her. Like, it wasn't even that awkward. It was just, I and Pepper are back to basic friends terms. Like, you know, if you and another person are somewhat close, you know, in the same college, the same cultural background, and you know, you just talk about basic things like application and classes and whatever. Apparently there's also another Hong Konger in Pepper's art history class, and Pepper's taking art history too as well, except it's in person and I'm taking it online. Yeah. And Pepper said she wants to drop out of Film 33. Like, all she cares about is her script being chosen. If her script isn't chosen, she's not interested in doing literally anything else. And she said it's a waste of time, it's a waste of effort, might as well leave Film 33. If she was in Film 33, it would be more fun because more drama, more things happening. But if she leaves, I honestly couldn't care any less. Yeah, I don't feel a single thing from her. Like, for her and from her, I just don't feel a single goddamn thing. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't. And I think she can also kind of tell maybe that I'm prepared to move on. I'm so prepared to move on. There's a second reincarnation of the Hong Kong Student Association. She probably doesn't know it because she doesn't check Discord. I know. I'm not gonna tell her because she doesn't need to know. I'm so ready to move on. I'm so ready to find other people more interesting than her. And at this point, I'm only socializing with her out of manners, you know, because we were close at some point and, you know, out of manners. But honestly, nothing I said to her mean anything. They don't hold any weight. They're all vapid. And I don't feel pain from this either. Like, usually if in a situation like this, I would feel like some sort of pain, like some sort of, oh, we used to be close, we used to be on really good terms, but now we're just cold again. But I don't feel that at all. I just don't care. I genuinely don't care. I have nothing to give her anymore. I have nothing to offer her. I have no expectations of her. We don't have any plans together either. It's not like we plan to work something together in the future or collaborate or we have a project in mind or anything. Like, at this point in time, I and Thomas are closer than I and Pepper. I and Cliff are closer than I and Pepper. Hell, I and Aoba are closer than I and Pepper. At least Aoba knows about, you know, me trying to get employed, and she knows about, you know, me going to Japan and everything. And she's curious what's going on in my film class, my Film 33. One of the students in Photo 2 is taking Film 32 with the Mexican professor, and I asked him, "Oh, do you know Leslie?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "No, it's only been one class." And then Diego heard me, and Diego's like, "Hey, I know Leslie." But yeah, you know, at this point, I and Cliff and I and Thomas are even closer, you know. you know, I rate people around me into grades, right? A, B, C, D, E. E is a stranger. A is the closest best friend. And my world in Hong Kong and my world in LA don't match. So grade A in Hong Kong isn't exactly the same as grade A in LA. It's a totally different circumstance. So Pepper used to be grade A. Now I guess she's kind of a B, something like that. I don't even want to like chat with her or anything. I don't even have any incentive. I don't even have any motivation to chat with her. Like there's nothing important to talk about. And it's a little bit of a shame maybe because she is not bad looking. She is fine. Like she's fine as in decent. And she took off her jacket today. She wore all black, but then she took off her black fur coat, and she's wearing like a very skin, like tight crop top. You know, she doesn't look bad, is all. Like she's not, you know, she's actually fine. It's just a shame that I feel nothing about that. There's literally nothing. Like Leslie isn't that cute. She isn't hot or anything. Okay, I don't mean it as an insult. She's fine as well. But I have more of a respect for Leslie for her interesting personality than I do for Pepper. Pepper has nothing to offer. Pepper's a dead end and she doesn't really mean anything anymore. I am so ready to branch out and move on and really just go out there for round 3. You know, I got ulterior motives. They should see it in my eyes, okay? I got ulterior plans, man. I'm ready to make the jump and move on and go forward and move forward in life. Yeah. You know, once the second incarnation of HKSA organizes some sort of event, once I get close to the HKSAs of UCLA and USC, once I don't know, somehow make another Hong Konger friend from a random class or an activity or something, then, you know, boom, off I go. Off I freaking go. I'm so ready to just abandon everyone I know, aside from the people who are so close to me, like Cliff. And I'm ready to abandon, I hate to say it, but I'm ready to abandon Thomas. I've been saying it since March, and I'm saying it now still. I'm ready to abandon Thomas anytime. Cliff is a good guy. I will not abandon him. Potter's a good guy too, but Pepper, I really don't care. Really cannot give a less piece of shit. Cannot give fewer shits. And I'm ready to just go. Yeah. And she probably doesn't think much of me either, and she's probably just as ready to go as I am. We're just speaking to each other out of politeness, you know? She's probably just as prepared to leave. So, yeah, fuck it. Yeah. It's sad, but it's true. It's like how at the end of round 1, you know, I'm so ready to make the jump from Pepper and Potter, from Potter and JT to Pepper. Like, Pepper's closer to me, she's film major, and I can start over with Pepper. Like, when I self-introduced myself to JT, it was terrible. And then when I did that to Potter, it was a little better. When I did that to Pepper, it's definitely way better. And then if I do it to the next Hong Konger or the next person, like, I can do even better. Like, and I'm just, you know, it's just ironic how Pepper's probably even closer to Potter and JT than to me, even though I am the precursor of all 3 of them. Yeah, you know, who fucking cares, really? Who fucking cares? Alright, time now is 9:49 a.m. on February 22nd. I slept from 3:15 to 9, but then I went back to bed. I was like, fuck it. So, yeah. And I didn't fall back asleep. I just went back to bed. So yeah. God damn it. And I need to wake up even earlier tomorrow at around like 8 a.m. or something like that. Yeah, so, oh my god. Yeah, so, last night, was it productive? Maybe, kinda. My door is not fully closed the whole fucking time? Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, again, it's just really tough for me to sleep early. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Like, it's just, I think I went to bed, like last night I spent maybe half an hour writing The Virgin on my bed. I did finish watching one episode of House of the Dragons. Um, but yeah, it was just like, come on, I always overestimate, or I always underestimate how much time I need every night. So I really need to clear my entire schedule every night just to leave some space for watching a movie and writing the script. Really, I should just start watching the movie right after dinner. I remember the good old days of 3 weeks ago when I would wake up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. naturally, and I feel so fucking powerful. But now I'm back to the state of sleeping at 3 a.m. again. So I don't know. My goal tonight is sleeping at 2 a.m. Um, let's try that. Yeah. So today I'm going to go to Photo 1 class, and I'm low-key excited for it, even though I shouldn't be, because there isn't a single person I know, and chances are I'll probably stay quiet the whole class and nothing happens. But, um, yeah, I also realize I have like no time to do anything right now. I want to film a couple reviews before I leave, but I don't think I have the time, honestly. Um, yeah, I do want to make friends with the Koreans. Let's hope I get the chance to talk to them some today. Like, even for my biology class last semester, when I really don't care about making friends for that class, other than Hong Kongers, right? I still ended up talking to people because of group project and stuff, and ended up collecting maybe 3 Instagram accounts. But I really like, I don't know. I want to do something for Photo 1. Is all, you know. So yeah, let's hope I can make some friends today. Fingers crossed. And yeah, I'm gonna have to call the Duolingo people about why aren't they sending my test results to Chapman University. Chapman University sent me an email yesterday morning or a couple days ago saying that some documents are still missing for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on. I also am not 100% sure if my mom's colleague has sent his letter recommendation to me for me to Chapman and to USC yet. I just don't know. No, he sent it to Chapman. It's received, but I can't tell for USC. So yeah. I don't know. Really don't know. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Real simple. I really have nothing all that crazy going on right now, so it makes even less sense that I would run out of time every night. Like I have even less things to care about nowadays. Like I got some classes, I don't even have work. I don't have crazy huge projects coming up. I just don't have a lot to do actually. Yeah, and I realized this last night. I have nothing crazy on my mind right now. When I hung out with Pepper, I don't feel a single damn thing. Yeah, but I hope something interesting at least happens at the end of February, hopefully. Because there's always a saying that in LA you can't even predict what happens by the end of the month. Because things always change and it's full of twists and turns. Because, round 2 was insane. Round 2 was just non-stop crazy twists and turns and whatnot. Round 3 right now feels really dead. February has been the most uneventful month of my life since a long time ago. Since I think November of 2021, I guess. It's really uneventful. Things happened, like my race to Hollywood, to the Dolby Theater with Alba was definitely a very interesting thing that happened. But it didn't develop into anything interesting. And then me hanging out with Cliff a couple times, that was kind of fun, but it wasn't a huge deal. The semester opening was fine, but it's also not a huge deal. Other than Film 33. Yeah, I don't know. I hope something interesting happens by the end of February, I guess. I really, really do. I have no idea what to eat for breakfast either. I got some chocolate chip cookies, but I kind of don't want to eat them. Oh my god. Oh, and today my Wii order is gonna arrive, so I'm probably gonna receive a bunch more food, so that should be something I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Just dropped down. Time now is 1:49 p.m. I just came back home, washed my face, washed my hair, everything. So, here's what happened today at Photo One. I wasn't late. I didn't get to film a couple reviews, but I wasn't late. And when I was transferring from my first bus to the second bus to the main campus, before I crossed the road, I saw a girl. And right off the bat, I immediately knew it's Pepper. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell is she doing here. I don't know, maybe it's for her art history class, because she did mention that her art history class is on Wednesdays. So I crossed the road and I said hi to her, and she's like, oh, hi. And I honestly don't care if she's there or not, but if she wasn't there, if I was completely alone, it would be way less awkward. So she was listening to music with her AirPods. I was listening to music with my earbuds. And, I as much as I would like to continue listening to music and not care about her and pretend that she doesn't exist, out of courtesy, out of respect, I put down my earbuds and I spoke to her. I'm like, oh, is this for art history class? As it turns out, she overslept and missed her morning Photo One class. So she decided to take the later class, which is my class. So that's what she did. And then we took the bus together. She went into the bus first, and I was behind her, and she went to somewhere in front of the bus, and she sat at a seat where it's free, like vacant for both seats, And so I don't want to just walk past her because it's rude. As much as I don't plan to sit with her, out of manners, out of courtesy, I sat beside her to her right. And there were so many dead silence. It was even more awkward than last night. We just looked around and we didn't have anything to say, and I can tell she's struggling between, should I just listen to music and ignore him, or should I, like, what should I do? I wasn't listening to music. I was just like silent, and then for the most part, I was the one initiating a conversation. I was like, oh, so, aside from John L's short film, like, are you working for other people? And she's like, oh yeah, that U.S. The Latino guy from Panama, Jorge, who went to USC Film. He's asking for my help for a short film he's making, so I'm gonna be helping him and then helping his friends as well. And I'm like, okay. And then dead silence. So we arrived at the class. We're like, oh, we're early, and he's like, yeah. Again, I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be fucking nice. I'm trying to say something. Both I and Pepper also don't want to speak to each other, and that's clear as day. But I'm being nice here, since we're together, and I don't want things to be awkward between us. So we walked to the classroom, and we were early, and we just sat down, and she sat behind me, I sat in front of her, and we didn't say much at that point. We just didn't talk to each other for almost the entire class. At some point, Pepper did ask me, so we got assigned cameras today. Canon T6, right there's a bag. You can't really see it. There's a little green tag over here, that's the bag of camera. And at some point, Pepper did ask me, oh wait, what did the professor do again? And I'm like, okay, press this, press that, and then that's it. And we did nothing. And so there are like 6 Koreans. Now I think there are 5 or 4. Some Koreans are gone. But for some reason, one of the Koreans are friends with Pepper. Of course, Pepper knows everyone and their moms. So Pepper's like, oh, hey. And a Korean girl was like, hey, Pepper. And then that's it. And then when we were lining up to get the cameras, the professor was like trolling Pepper, like, stop being such a nuisance, please. And then other Korean students also laughed alongside. Like, Pepper looked at the Koreans and they all like smiled back, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is my 3rd class in photo 1, and this is Pepper's 1st, and this will probably be Pepper's only time coming to my photo 1. And Pepper's already like getting more things done than me, like, whatever, fuck it. And then at some point, near the end of the class, we have to do a little exercise thing where we have our cameras and we need to find a partner and take pictures of each other with different white balance and different ISOs. And so yeah, and I didn't make a move first because I didn't know if Pepper would choose me or not. I don't want Pepper to choose me, but if she does, I don't mind. And then Pepper just randomly found a Latina girl and just, hey, let's be partners. And I'm like, well, fine, fuck it. And so I thought, shit, now I'm in this awkward situation. I bet no one's gonna pick me and I'm gonna be left alone and I'm gonna be super awkward. I'm gonna be like Bocce the Rock. Turns out this other Latino guy with green hair looked at me and was like, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's chill. He clearly knows nothing about photography. So, wow, it's actually really easy to find a partner. People just come at you, I guess. And so we took photos of each other, and he's like, haha, that's pretty cool. Ooh, the colors change it. Wow, that's so cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, haha. And then that's it. And then right off the bat, after the class is over, Pepper left first thing. She left first thing, and yeah, I mean, to be fair, she's probably racing to her art history class because her schedule today was supposedly 9 a.m. to, I guess, 10:30-ish, the photo class, and then 11 something to maybe 2 p.m.-ish, or maybe 3, art history. So she's in a hurry, I get it, but she didn't say a word to me, she didn't even look at me, not even in my general direction. She just darted out. She just bursted out and she just walked away in high speed. I wanted to like chase after her, just say goodbye, but then I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I don't care. So I just left and I, listened to music, took a bus back home. The bus was so packed and it was kind of awkward. I didn't want to hold onto guardrails because I don't like touching things. So I was trying to do this surfing thing like I always do in Hong Kong MTR, but Los Angeles buses are a bit more stupid. Also, it's so cold and windy. Also, apparently it's also raining on Friday, so that's gonna be interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's do this first. Hey, there we go. Oh my god, this is huge. There's more. Oh my god, the size of this thing. All right. First time, Achoy. I hope this is fully cooked, because otherwise I'm gonna get food poisoning. Alright, time now is 9:46 p.m. Just finished dinner. Yeah. Damn, it was a very good dinner. It was very heavy. It was a lot of rice, a couple gigantic chicken drumsticks, some eggplants and achoy. I don't know the English name for this vegetable, but it's achoy, and I'm so glad I found it on Wii. So at around, I think 4 p.m. I got a call, and it was a woman who's Chinese, and she immediately spoke Mandarin to me, because assuming all Wii customers are Chinese. Yeah, I could try speaking Mandarin, but I was just too tired to do that, so I was like, okay, I'll come. So she says she's gonna leave it outside the door. So I went out and I couldn't find any boxes. I went back into my apartment and went to my apartment door to see if it's outside my door and not the whole building. And then I went back out again and I found out that the Wii delivery woman, is actually a truck driver. And there is a gigantic truck, not a gigantic, but a whole truck parked outside, opposite in the opposite side, with its trunk opened, and there are so many boxes in it. And oh wow, okay, so that's probably me. So I went there and I picked up my boxes, and she also picked up the boxes for other residents of this building. And she's like, oh, do you know how to open it? And she spoke to me in Mandarin again, like force of habit, I guess. And I said, oh, no, I actually use keys. And so I got in. But yeah, I got a bunch of food from Wii, and honestly, it's satisfactory. Once again, Wii has satisfied me and helped me in times of need. Lots of food. The drumsticks was really good. It's a lot of meals worth of drumsticks. The vegetables is really good as well. A lot of meals worth of vegetables. I am once again filled with food in the fridge, and I do not have to worry about food outage anymore. I forgot to mention that earlier today, I think in the photo 1 class, I asked Pepper how did she know the Korean girl. And she's Korean, but she feels like an American, but she chats with other people in Korean. But Pepper said, oh, I met her at a party. And I'm like, of course that's gonna be your fucking answer. Like in my head, I'm like, of course. And it's just like, oh man, going to parties really, means socializing. I realize I go to parties, like if I do go to one, that is, I look for a bad time. Like I expect myself to have a panic attack or freak out or throw up or something or cry and develop suicidal thoughts. But people usually go to parties for the opposite thing. They go there to socialize, have a good time, to drink, have fun. And it's so funny, like but my definition of a good time is a bad time. In this case, like if I'm able to achieve having a panic attack and whatever, then I would probably go home pretty impressed and satisfied. And I realize, like, damn, like, yeah, I'm just envisioning the future. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna talk about this later. Okay. I'm surprisingly productive today. I filmed a couple of reviews. I watched an episode of House of the Dragons. I finished some editing for my Japan vlogs. It's been going strong so far. I'm gonna edit my college video, and then I will probably do some college homework. Also, apparently Duolingo is not sending the English test to Chapman University. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna call them if I can. And then the other USC stuff, college transcript, whatever. Yeah, I'll handle that stuff. And then not much else, I think. Not much else. And then I'll watch a movie, and then tonight I'll go to bed, and tomorrow there's Film 33, which is something I'm excited about, even though nothing's probably gonna happen tomorrow. Yeah, I want to say that Pepper told me she's not going to Film 33 tomorrow. So instead of seeing Pepper 4 days in a row, I'll be seeing Pepper only once a week now. And that is Tuesday with Photo 2. And that is if she sticks to it. But yeah, it's so funny. Like, last semester when I and Pepper talked about enrolling in classes, Pepper was like, haha, now you're gonna see me 4 days in a row. I'm gonna see you 4 days in a row. Like, you're gonna be so fucking annoying. And I'm laughing, and she's like, I'm just kidding. Because at that point we were really close. And now it's such a hassle that we have to see each other 4 days in a row. And even 2 days in a week seems too much for Pepper. And now it's only 1 day. So yeah, it somehow unironically came true. Pepper feeling annoyed seeing me every day. So there's that. Like I said, I was envisioning how in the future, if I do meet another group of friends, if I do start hanging out with another friend group, and we go to a party or something, and then in there I randomly run into Pepper again, like, what the fuck would happen? I would pretend to be strangers with her, and it's gonna be awkward and intense, and that's fucking awesome, actually. That would be like Euphoria in real life, Except I hate Euphoria, and that makes it even funnier that the storyline is actually happening in real life. But yeah, I just expect things like this to really happen in the future. Like, on the set of John L's short film, where she's gonna be the makeup artist and I'm gonna be scripty. Like, we're not gonna talk, okay? We're not gonna fucking talk, and we're gonna pretend we don't exist, like each other. We don't exist. And yeah, after this semester is over, then we're done. Pepper will probably go to CSUN. If lucky, I'll go to UCLA or USC or LMU, and then that's it. And then we just say goodbye to each other forever, and then that's the end of our story. And yeah, but yeah, I don't know if there's like a Asian World Film Festival again. I'm not even gonna think that far. Like, maybe I won't even join next year. But it's just yeah. I just don't. Yeah, I and Miriam talked a little bit last time. Miriam spoke to me on Instagram a little bit about what's going on in her life. She asked me how it's going on in my life, and I said, not much. Really, not much. Like, there's nothing going on that's all that crazy or anything. Like, in round two, a lot of the times, I'm always occupied with something. Oh, the Asian World Film Festival. Oh, Film 33 Help Out. Oh, I wanna, I don't know, like, what are some other things that are, helping Alba with her short film. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But right now, I'm just not occupied with much. I'm not bothered by much, honestly. Of course, there's a uni app, but, oh my god, is that a fly? But yeah, I'm just, like, not much is happening to me right now, and I don't really feel anything. I just feel really idle. Maybe this is not a very good thing, because I'm writing The Virgin now, and I'm supposed to be in a sadder, more somber mood. But, yeah. I guess, yeah, I guess, Miriam told me there's no development between her and that guy that she was gonna have dinner with the day after we last met. She just realized that she and him don't match. And she couldn't bring up the conversation topic about love and relationships and stuff like that. Like, she couldn't bring it up because she realized she's not close enough with that guy. So that's it for their relationship, and I feel like that's also it for me and Pepper's relationship as well. But I told Miriam that, I have hope for the future. I know there's gotta be hope in the future. There's gotta be. I know I'm being oddly optimistic. At the end of everything, I really thought it's the end of my life. There's nothing. But really, there's a lot more. You just gotta know where to find it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it. Not much else.